Navigating today's real estate market can be tricky. Want to buy or sell a house, finance or insure a house, or stuck with a house and don't know what to do? Florida Talk Real Estate has been your local one-stop real estate shop since 2012. Get the advice you need from your local real estate pros. Here are your hosts, Jim Paola and Johnny C. live on Real Radio.
Yes, good Saturday morning to you. Welcome to another edition of Florida Talk Real Estate. We got you for 2 hours, hopefully, of infotainment. That's what we offer you up every Saturday. And you're obviously always welcome. Great to have you with us, 92.1, 101.7. Maybe you're on your free download, your iHeartRadio app. We are setting up the live stream as well. Florida Talk Real Estate. You can find them on Facebook and YouTube. Live streaming. Cameras are in the studio for a reason. If you want to see the antics, you can check us out again on Facebook and YouTube, Florida Talk Real Estate. And again, you're always welcome to be a part of the program. Questions, comments, concerns in the world of real estate? Want to dive into the conversation? Dial us up, 877-927-6969. The first voice you'll hear, the melodious tones of our producer extraordinaire, Jimothy. Hello, my brother from another mother.
Hello and good morning, gentlemen. Happy Saturday.
Yeah, happy Saturday to you as well. Great to see you as always. I'm your boy, Johnny C., Air Traffic Control, your old buddy, your old pal. Let's get your starting lineup on a Saturday morning. Always a pleasure to say good morning. Ross Komarinetz. He's with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. Ross, how are you, buddy?
I am doing well this morning. Good to see everybody.
Nice to see you as well. You're sitting in a different seat, so I have a different perspective of you.
I know.
I like it, though.
It's taking me a second to get used to it. It's like a better seat. Everything's upgraded. I'm not used to it.
It's like first class.
I know.
You're like, look at all the leg room.
I'm surprised they let me up here.
Here's the tough part. You're going to get used to it and be like, this is my new seat.
I got to go back to coach.
Nice to see you as always, my friend. And we do have our fearless leader. We lean on him every Saturday. For 11 plus years now, I've told you he runs a top producing Keller Williams team. Keller Williams Innovations. You find the Florida Home Pros team and my guy, Jim DePola. Jimmy D, how you be?
Good morning.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there it goes. Sounds a little better now. Hi, good morning, everybody. Happy South Florida. I'm trying to set up the videos. There's a little delay in the videos today, so you're just going to have to get over it. And Mike, where are you?
Deal with it.
Yeah. And Mike, where are you? He hasn't come in, and I just texted him, so I hope he's okay.
Oh,
so,
no.
Oh.
Yeah.
MIA?
Yeah, he's totally MIA. So just hope he's okay.
You know what he's doing?
Maybe
I
he
hope
ended
he's
up in
having
the
fun.
MIA and-
I hope he's having like bad fun right now. That's what I hope. If
All
he's
the
doing
coffee
something.
talk from like a week or two ago. He stopped to get coffee.
Yeah,
No, he's
maybe that's what he's doing. But
What's
he
he
doing?
doing? Port St. Lucie, moving my stuff.
Oh,
What a
Well,
good guy.
It's moving weekend.
yeah, so we're going to talk about that first. Jimmy is no longer homeless anymore.
Oh.
Timothy is no longer homeless. Congratulations,
Thank you.
dude.
Thank you,
no
gentlemen.
longer
Thank you,
homeless. That's right. The Florida Home Pros made them kind of homeless for how long was it? It was so short.
By the way, you can't say homeless anymore. It's a residentially challenged.
Unhoused.
I like that. I'm going to use that for residentially challenged.
Yes.
I
What
like
was it?
Only about
10 days?
10 days
Something
about?
like that, yeah.
Yeah, 10 days. So he is the typical seller buyer, right? How to sell the house, use the proceeds from that house to buy the new home. We talk about it all the time. We say seller buyer because you have to do it really fast. And if you do it well, you do it as a simultaneous close.
Where nobody is residentially challenged.
Where nobody's residentially challenged. Now, when you do a simultaneous close, you're actually taking the money from the sale in the morning of the house. And then you're taking that money automatically. You never touch it. And it goes to the title company. Then the title company sends it to the house that you're buying, right? For the purchase that you're buying.
Right.
And everything's taken care of all in one day. With Jimothy, we couldn't do that because we didn't know when his house was going to be available because it was being built. How far along was it before we put the house on the market? Like, I think they were just like building the footers, right? They were just digging the footers.
Slab and the block walls.
Oh,
Right-
slab and block
Yeah,
walls.
right around that time frame. But from it being just an empty lot to having the most of the building put up with the trusses on and the plywood on the roof, that was a matter of maybe 10 days. I mean, that's just something that they do so quick. But there's not a whole lot to that part of it, right? The real time spend is the sheetrock, cabinets, tile, all that. That's the stuff that takes a little bit more time.
Yeah.
The block itself, I mean, that was up in a day.
You're
One
like,
day.
"Whoa, look at this.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty wild. But because you didn't know when you were going to close, like when the house was going to be finished, because what the developers told you was we want to have it by this date, we think, but there's hurricanes. We were at the beginning of hurricane season, so like we don't know what's going to happen with that. What happens if supply chains get crazy?
Can't predict.
A few months before Jimothy bought his house, we had another person that was buying a new construction home, and they couldn't close because the door handles for the sliders weren't available. The door friggin' handles, right? So what the developers were doing back then was they were ripping out the sliders and putting in French doors, just so they can.
At least you can.
So you can close.
Yeah.
So like,
and then what? Go back and fix it, or just like, hey, are we all right with this?
I don't know. I don't know what happened after that, but with Jimothy's case, like they're saying, we can't guarantee when we're going to close, and it's legit. I mean, there's they got to be.
There are variables you cannot control.
Exactly. Yep. Life happens, right? Exactly. That's what I say.
Supply chains. Obviously, that was a big issue for some time with COVID. We learned that that can get cut off very easily for those guys. So
quickly,
and they put in a buffer there so that they can't get sued type thing. But it ended up their projection of the end of October came right perfect tuition. I mean, it was right there, right on the nose. So, but we didn't have any storms. I mean, it was just, I don't want to say perfect scenario, but darn near perfect.
Meant to be.
That worked out perfect.
Yeah.
Jim put our house on the market at just the right time. It sold. I mean, it was on the market literally for a day and a half, and it was sold. And so 5 days total, I think.
Yeah,
and we got six offers. So
yeah, we had multiple offers. I was a little concerned when we put the house on the market because Jimmy lives on what I call a zoom road, right? So I was very nervous that might affect the value and or the activity on the house. So we were very blessed that everything came together right away.
And it did. There were people that saw the house and made comments on it that it's on a busy road, so we're not interested. So we did have that as well.
And we had a lot of cancellations. People made appointments and didn't show up, even though we had 6 offers. Right, we still had more people, and some of them just. I remember one of them was the father of one of the kids that used to do my photography, my videography, and he made the appointment. Right, so and the father and the son have the same name, so I thought it was the kid. Right. So I call up and found out it was the father, and he didn't even call. He drove by it and he didn't even want to go see because of the zoom road. So there was an issue there, but we solved it. We took care of it. Let me tell you, Jimmy and Carla did everything I asked them to do and more as far as trying to get the house staged, ready to go so that we can make the most money.
Beautiful.
Well, you're the pro. I mean, you're going to get the house sold if we do, the steps that you said to take, and that was it, and it worked out. It worked perfectly.
You mean you went to people that are great at what they do and actually followed their lead?
Exactly.
Like listen to what they said and try to get a good outcome. Huh.
He's the pro. I mean, you hire him for a reason, right?
Good job, Jimmy.
What's the point in hiring somebody if you're not going to do what they say that is going to be
the best way
in your best interest, right?
Yeah,
there's truth to that, and but Jimmy went. I wouldn't say above and beyond, but he really took it to the next level. For example, Jim had a very elaborate, and he pulled permits on this, a very elaborate wood structure in the back for an above ground pool. And I didn't see it before this storm. So I'm sure it looked really, really good because I could see how the deck was built and everything. But when I saw it, the pool was gone. The deck was still there, but where the pool was supposed to be was gone. So there was this structure here that kind of was a deck that you could go out and use as a deck, but it was lifted above the ground and it just didn't make any sense anymore.
Right.
So, oh my gosh, I don't know how long that took you, but Jimmy went out there, I guess with the Sawzall, I'm guessing.
Pretty much.
Because it was built to code. He pulled permits, so it was built to code. So he had to rip the whole thing apart, right? So that and he has a really nice big backyard. That was one of the nice things. So it accentuated the backyard, which people love when they came to
open that right up, I'm sure.
But I'm sure that wasn't a good weekend. I'm sure that weekend, Jimmy, and on the weekdays, Jimmy was cursing me out while he was doing it.
It was one of those things, even when we went into it, we were like, you know what, like in the back of my mind, the best thing to do was to get rid of it. And then, it was some expense, some labor, but I saved myself some money by, doing some of it myself. But in the end, to me, I think it was worth it. It made it easier to sell the house. It made the backyard look nicer, kind of focused there instead of the zoom road, as you say.
Right.
Yeah, I was so so happy everything went so smooth for him. And then on the flip side, on the backside for the new construction, that went through very, very smoothly. Pretty happy overall. I don't want to get into it too much, but the customer service I felt was lacking once in a while. From my end is the realtor perspective of watching the other side. But they built a really nice home and they did it very efficiently. And I'm just so happy that you are on to the next chapter of your life. It's just so awesome.
We are.
No more Zoom Road anymore either, too,
No more
right?
Zoom Road.
Zoom is gone.
I mean, night and day. From that to a road where there's 5 houses on it, and the only reason for anybody to ever drive back there is for those 5 houses. There's no throughway for it at all, and so there's no reason for it. And it's of course residential. It's 25 mile an hour, and we're right by a curve, so you can't go that fast. You know, I mean, it's going to be night and day.
Beautiful
when it comes to the traffic driving by the house.
Yeah, it's pretty nice too. I noticed that your dining room is probably about the same size, just maybe a little tiny bit smaller than your living room in your old house.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's pretty cool.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Can't wait to have you guys up.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome, and he's gonna have all those discounts on the insurance, Ross, for new construction for a long time, right? He's not gonna really have to worry about anything for a long time, right? As far as like changes to the industry or whatever.
I don't think so. I think new construction is going to be pretty stable. I don't think you'll see any rate increases, significant ones anyway. You know, we're starting to see those slow down in general, so that's good.
Yeah, yes, we're going to talk a little bit about that in a little bit, and the insurance commissioner made a statement of what he thought should happen with price increases for insurance. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But the other thing is oh wait,
Florida Talk Real Estate.com. While you try to refresh your memory there, Florida Talk Real Estate.com.
Yeah, I was trying to remember. It was something to do with insurance in Jimmy's house, but I can't remember what it was. So I apologize.
Well, what's good is looks like you're going to be pretty good with your insurance a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. Is it less than what it was at your old spot?
Yes.
Or is it comparable?
It's about half. About half. Yeah. And there was that big jump there over the summertime for whatever reason. Again, out of Ross's control. That's not, a dig obviously at you. From the original quote that we got, it's still higher than that, but it's still about half. Yeah.
And it went up since summer.
Yeah. Well, Ross got me a quote so we could know our numbers.
Sure.
And by the time we actually went to set the policy, and it jumped up significantly, but again, out of Ross's control. It's just what the industry is doing right now.
It is what it is, right? But as Ross said, it looks like that might be slowing down a little bit. We'll get into that a little later, but that's a beautiful thing.
But still much better than what it was on the old house. Yeah,
right.
About half. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a good learning curve. Also, was that watching the brand new insurance quote jump so much over about 6 months or something?
Oh, not even 3.
Not even 3
About
months.
3 months.
Yeah, jump that much for a new construction home that wasn't even built yet.
Right.
And it went up that much. It was interesting to watch. I'm not saying fun.
Not at all.
Just interesting.
No. Well, I mean, there really haven't been that many negative things in this whole process, and it is what it is. Again, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and one of the other good things is with Jimmy's deal is that even though we had a couple of bumps of road here or there, they were very good about rolling with the punches, because when you're selling a house and buying a house at the same time, it's stressful.
Oh.
And there's a lot of things that are out of your control that can pop up.
Just one side of the transaction is stressful.
It's tough enough, yeah.
As he says it, I'm like, well, I've been through, one side, and that was stressful enough. Let's do both.
Yeah, both at the same time.
Yeah,
that then they have to coordinate.
And the thing that's crazy about that is that a lot of people don't understand how their decision to change something or do something a certain way might have a ripple effect with like 2 or 3 other groups of people. Meaning it could be the customers itself, like one of the buyers or sellers involved in this chain of seller buyer. It could be one of the mortgage companies or an insurance company having an issue. And so when people make a decision unilaterally, it has this like daisy chain effect that affects all these other people. And then the people that offered the suggestion at first about the change, they're like, what's the big deal? And they don't have any idea what's going on behind. And with Jimothy, one of the things that was a little stressful was when we did the FHA financing, and we took it. And then at the last minute, we found out that in order to meet the FHA loan, Jimmy had to take care of some flaking paint on his house,
Right.
and some bondo, like some rotted wood that needed to be taken care of, like the rotted wood cut out and bondoed up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't really find out about that on time because the agent that we're working with, while she was a very nice person, she wasn't very efficient, and she was out of the country for a large part of the closing. So she gave us part of an appraisal report, and we didn't know why we were getting it with no other thing. It's like, why do we have this report? I thought that it was just, hey, the house appraised, right? But apparently buried in that report were some repairs that need to be done, and she didn't mention anything about the repairs.
Right. So it was in there?
It's apparently it was in there.
Okay.
It's like buried in this like 9-page report or something. Okay. So then she said, then the mortgage company was upset. It's like, why haven't you done the repairs? And we were like, what repairs? What are you talking about? And they're like, we sent you the report. And I'm like, yeah. And you said house appraised. Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so Jimothy at the end had we only were like 3 to 4 days out for the closing, I think, right?
Yeah. Well, it was a week away. It's about a week away.
And then
we found that out. So that weekend I made the repairs, but that was still too late to close on the day. In a way, that ended up working out better because that was one less a week of rent, quote unquote, that I had to pay. So in a way, I saved money.
Yeah, he ended up saving money on, but it was a stress, and this is very common. Jimothy said at the time, well, what happens if I do the repairs and they're not satisfied with it? And because they're not really descriptive of exactly what they want you to do, and you can kind of go crazy. Once you start painting something, well, you could just, next thing you know, you painted the whole house, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, he did it thoroughly, and it was good enough, and we passed and everything, and it worked out great. But there's always bumps in the road in a seller buyer, and the thing that I'm trying to emphasize is Jimmy and Carla rolled with the punches, and while it wasn't fun, some of the things, the news they got wasn't fun. They didn't make a big deal about it. They just sucked it up buttercup and got the job done. And really, that's the best way to deal with the seller buyer situation, because if you start focusing on what could have been, how it could have been more efficient, if people just did it the way that I wanted them to do, and you start going down that road, it turns in a very, very negative situation.
Oh, true. You can apply that thinking to just about any aspect of life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Could have been.
But it seems like it almost attracts it, though. Like when you're in a real estate transaction, the more you have that attitude, the more you attract.
Yeah, it just draws it in. You're a magnet for it. Yeah.
I was telling Ross before the beginning of the show, this week was just heck, because every time that we negotiated something on multiple transactions, is over 3 transactions with 3 different groups of realtors or whatever, and you negotiate and everybody agrees with it, and then when it's written up, they make one change to it that wasn't discussed on the phone. They don't think it's a big deal, but the other side thinks it's a big deal.
Sure.
Right? And then it turns this big mess. So the whole week, we never got anything. It seemed like every time we tried to get something resolved, we couldn't get it resolved because, it was just one of those weeks. But a couple other shout outs is to Lisa and David. Lisa and David have no idea who I was as of last Tuesday of this week. And they were flying in from New York, and they're trying to move down here, but they want a rental property so they could figure out where they want to live, because they want to be close to their grandkids. And they moved for New York, which we're going to be talking about this whole migration thing today. And they didn't know us from Adam. They called the Keller Williams office. They placed them with me. And congratulations, Lisa and David. We got them into their seasonal rental. They're going to be living in Boynton Beach in a membership equity community called the Fountains, which is really nice. And he's a big golfer. David's a big golfer. So they're really looking forward to come down here. And then we're going to help them find a new home after they get situated in the rental. Then we're going to go look for their permanent home down here. So congratulations. And they're starting to know us. Maybe they're listening to the show for the first time today. I don't know.
Excellent. Hope so.
Yep. They're up in New York right now. So they know that they can listen anywhere on the iHeartMedia app.
That's right.
or on Facebook or YouTube, Florida Talk Real Estate.
Free download your iHeartRadio app. That's right. And we are live streaming Facebook and YouTube, Florida Talk Real Estate on both. Florida Talk Real Estate, also at .com. And when we're live on a Saturday, you can always reach out, 877-927-6969. Be on the radio.
Congratulations to Chris. Chris, I helped sell his house in Hallandale Beach. We'll be closing on that late next week or early the week after. We have to wait for a permit to close out. And then we helped Chris use that money to go find a new home.
Nice.
He bought a house, actually bought a townhome up in Palm Beach Gardens. In Palm Beach Gardens and PGA National, you can get a townhome over there, 3-bedroom, 2-bath townhome with a pool in the townhome, private pool.
Sweet.
Not a community pool. So that's a little unusual.
It was really unusual.
Yeah. And Chris, he was looking for like a really old Florida home near downtown Lake Worth. That was like his favorite honey hole. And we were looking at all these houses that were 1920s to 1940s that needed everything. Right?
Yeah.
In fact, we had him under contract last week to buy a house. And then we went and put it under contract sight unseen. Okay. It was a 1940s home. Not on a monolithic slab, on the wood joist, the wood floor joist and everything, with the flat roof. It was Ross's favorite insurance deal ever, right? I'm joking. And we finally got into it pre-inspection, and he didn't want it. It was just too
much.
The
Too
floor
much to
joists were so destroyed, we didn't know if the shell was salvageable or not. It was just too much. So next thing I know, we're up at PGA National getting a townhome with the pool. So that rehab is so easy for Chris because he's pretty seasoned as fixing up homes that he lives in. So basically it's rip out the kitchen, put in the kitchen, rip out the floor and put in the floor. Nice and easy. No major structural stuff. He's really happy. Went under contract, did the inspection yesterday. Everything's looking good for him. Good for him. Need to ask you a question, Ross, about Chris's situation. Looked up his property, and it says it's a townhouse, and the legal description does not say it's a condo. And but the neighbors said there's a new roof on the quadruplex. It's a townhouse quadruplex, and there's a new roof on it. And they're saying the community put the roof on, but it's a townhome and not a condo. So some of the neighbors are saying that the townhome community, the HOA, Homeowners Association, covers the roof and the exterior structure, but not the pipes in the walls or the wiring in the walls. That's your responsibility. This house has polybutylene. And they're saying the community doesn't deal with the polybutylene, but they will deal with the roof and the exterior. Have you ever heard of that kind of situation?
I mean, each HOA can be completely different. And no matter, like, they're not going to ask you, the HOA is not going to replace the pipes or anything, just because they're polybutylene. They wouldn't replace them.
So if there was a leak in the wall, and when you have, what do you call it? The HO6 is when the community takes care of the exterior from behind the drywall to the exterior of the building, right? So behind the drywall would be the pipes and the electric. If something failed there, that isn't the responsibility of the Homeowners Association's insurance.
It would. I don't know what the HOA documents say or anything like that, but typically it's outlined in those documents, like what the HOA covers. Are the HOA documents like online?
I don't know. I have to check. So that's what I wanted to find out. So explain that to me. So how would I find out the correct information? Because let's say that the property manager is not easy to get in touch with.
Because a lot of the times in those HOA, like on the listings for communities where the HOA covers the exterior, oftentimes they put the HOA docs in the listing. And so sometimes if we want to try and figure out, like, okay, what does it cover when we're trying to do the quote? Because, sometimes there can be some conflicting information on, does the HOA cover the exterior, or is the insured responsible for it? So we try and dig into it as much as we can to figure it out. Or, maybe we already know because we're familiar with the community or something. But a lot of the times in the listing, there are the HOA documents, and it will have like what the HOA covers as far as the insurance goes in there.
Okay. Yeah, because we just put it on contract, so we got to check. I thought it was actually a condo at first, and now when I saw the new roof and heard the community put it on, I felt it was more like a condo HO6
Yeah, and I
policy.
mean that's pretty common. Just
Yeah.
because it's not listed as a condo on public record, they can still have an association that covers the exterior. Now, there are some companies, like insurance companies, that say, hey, if this is not a true condo, like association defined it, as far as public records go, then some carriers won't write an HO6 on that. But we've got carriers that will write the HO6, and you just have to provide insurance documents or some sort of proof that the HOA does cover the exterior.
Yeah, that makes sense. So congratulations to Chris. He's very happy. Found the new home. Completely different area than he thought he was going to move in. Completely different type of house, but he's super, super happy.
Good.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you do.
Because he emailed me saying he wants to do some renovations.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yeah. So I'm really, really excited for Chris and starting that new journey. He's going to probably do some other real estate with us in the future. So congratulations to Chris. George Logan. I usually don't say last names. Hey, George, I don't know if he's listening, but we just put his listing on the market today, or I'm sorry, not today. We put his listing on the market yesterday. Nope, I guess Thursday. It's really nice 2-bedroom, 2-bath with a den in the community of Aberdeen. That is a membership equity community. So when you move into Aberdeen, you have to pay a $70,000 membership equity as part of the purchase of the house. So whatever the house is, you have to add $70,000 to for the membership equity. And then there's fees throughout the time of ownership. And you have different types of levels of membership equity. You could have a golf membership equity, just a social club membership equity, just a restaurant membership equity, all these different type of equities that you could do or memberships you can do. But George's property is really, really nice. 2-bedroom, 2-bath with the den on the lake. It's a villa, so it's attached to another property. It's priced at $375,000, which is a really great price for this house. The kitchen and the bathrooms were recently updated, and it's got really nice hardwood floor in all the bedrooms, which is really nice. So please, if you want to check that out, just go to our Facebook page, Florida Talk Real Estate. We're going to be doing open house on that property pretty soon.
Cool.
We also have wanted to say congrats to April and Joe. They put their house on the market with us. Actually, I think we went on the market. It was either Monday or Friday, so I don't think I talked about it last week if we put it on Friday. I think we put it on this Monday. But Joe and April have a really nice home in Lake Worth, right on the edge of Lake Clark Shores. It's actually, you can't even tell the two communities apart because they're right on the edge. They're on a finger canal that goes into Lake Clark Shores, Lake Clark, right? Duh. Okay, on Lake Clark, which is a really, really nice lake over there that people go fishing and water skiing and boating all the time over there. This is a really nice 4-bedroom, 2-bath home, CBS construction. Really nice open floor plan, brand new seawall, which is really important in that area. Don't have to worry about that for a long time, with the 6,000-pound brand new boat lift for their boat.
Awesome.
So they're just sitting there waiting for your boat to come in and bring it in. Already had one offer, even though the house has only been on the market. I think today's the 5th day. We already had one offer, but we turned it down because we felt that the offer was too low, and the family that turned it in loved the house and they gave us everything they got. So they were just saying, hey, look, I really want the house.
Taking
and this
a
I
shot.
got. Yeah. Can't get if you don't ask.
That's
right.
it.
So we said, really appreciate the offer, but it's too low. And if you want to come back and reconfigure your number, we'll be more than happy to consider it. So congratulations, April and Joe. That's a really great deal over in Lake Clark Shores, Lake Worth area. A couple other things that are really great about that community It's really old Florida. When you go there, there's a lot of old Florida style houses, but really, really fixed up. It feels really nice over there, and it's kind of secluded, but you're so close to 95 and all the downtown stuff. You're right outside of the edge of West Palm. So there's really great for commutes and things like that. And really looking forward to get that house sold for them.
Yeah.
And we already helped them find their rental property. So they're going to be renting for a while till they get situated, decide where they want to live after that. So the rental property is already done. We're just waiting to sell the house.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Sounds
Yeah.
like that's probably not going to be too much longer.
It won't be.
No.
We're going to take a little break right now. And then on the flip side, we are going to talk about the insurance commissioner, Ross. He has ideas on what we should do about all the problems we have with the insurance companies, and thought this would be kind of interesting to see what they have to say about that.
All right. Everybody that is a homeowner is very interested in what is happening with our homeowners insurance in specifically the state of Florida. We're getting a lot of national attention at this point too. So very valuable information as always. You're welcome to be a part of the program if you'd like. 877-927-6969. Questions, comments, concerns, dive on in. If you're not comfortable on the radio, I totally understand. You have access to the entire team at FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. We call it your one-stop real estate shop for a reason. Pros. These are experts in their field, and they do work cohesively together. Get them all at FloridaTalkRealEstate.com on Facebook and YouTube as well. But remember the .com, FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. We're back in 4 minutes. Great to have you with us every Saturday. It's Florida Talk Real Estate right here. It's Real Radio.
The bad news, the brain isn't all that great at hearing stuff and remembering it. The good news, you can watch us too. Like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Real Radio 92.1.
For more information about contests on the station, visit realradio921.com/rules.
Here's what's happening with the weather on Real Radio.
From the Gordon and Partners Weather Center. Have you or a loved one been injured through no fault of your own? Call 561-333-3333 or go to fortheinjured.com.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Collins with CBS 12 News. Mostly sunny today with only a stray shower possible as temperatures remain in the middle 80s for afternoon highs with a northeast breeze between 15 and 20 miles per hour. Then partly cloudy, mild again tonight as overnight lows drop into the 70s by Sunday morning.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Get the best new deals when you shop Black Friday every day at Lowe's. Bring home a select DeWalt drill or impact driver or Cobalt 40-volt blower for just $99. Valid through 10/31 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rauch from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rauch will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rauch, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Komarinetz, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
This is Real Radio 92.1 and 101.7. Real talk for the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
Well, Johnny C, that be me. Our producer extraordinaire is Jimothy.
Good morning, Jonathan.
And if you do dial that number up, 877-927-6969, you're going on the radio. You're going to talk to Jimothy. He'll line you up.
Put me to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Put him to work. That's right. We have plenty of time for you. If you do want to dive into the conversation, if you do have a question, don't be shy. If you're not comfortable on the radio, I totally understand. I'm not either. That's why I would like to remind you that Florida Talk Real Estate is .com. Use it, know it, love it, share it too. You can change lives. You got a group of pros at floridatalkrealestate.com, like Ross Komarinetz with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. Ross, what's up, my dude?
Juno, I'm doing good.
You know it. I love it, and it's great to hear it. You can also find Jimmy D over here. He runs top producing Keller Williams team, Florida Home Pros team. Jimmy DePola, how you doing, my guy?
I do.
You do.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. You still do, man.
Know. Hey.
Yep. Even today.
It has been a blur.
Yeah, this year is, I don't know, for you guys, you realize, like, you just blink and we're at the end of October.
It's so
It's unbelievable. And blanket's going to be New Year's.
Well, and now we're into the Zoom time of the year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, football season is, let's go. It's time for next year. Yeah.
Hey, Chris, he's bugging me on the text saying he needs his inspection report. I'm live on the radio, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, well, jump on it.
I'll call you when I'm done.
Chop.
9 to 11. There's not a lot I can do for you guys.
You can give a personal answer on the radio, though, evidently.
Effort over here,
Hey,
please.
Chris.
Yeah,
Soon. Promise.
Yeah, exactly. Promise. We got a lot to talk about for the rest of the show, but I want to really focus a little bit about insurance, which has been such a big deal. We've been talking about the insurance crisis for so long. We do have a little bright side. Ross, I have a customer who came to me.
It's Brightway.
Yeah, they're Brightway, not bright side. Bright lining. We had a customer that came from North Carolina. He already had his mortgage company and everything set up. The mortgage company he used got him to an insurance company. I told him to, get a second quote from you guys. I think he did that late, but he said he already had insurance policy lined up before I sent him over to you. And I was like, which company? I said, is it Citizens? And he, from out of state, he didn't know. And just for the heck of it, I said, "Do you think it's Slide?" And he actually goes, "That's it. That's the company that picked me up." So he's got picked up by Slide. It was a 2002 home, CBS construction. Roof was original, and Slide picked it up.
What's
But
the dwelling coverage? Or is it a big house?
it's a big house. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
probably close to, I think it's about roughly 32 under air and about 4,000 under roof.
Yeah, so it goes outside of Citizens because the dwelling coverage will be over 700,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then Slide, it kind of, if it's more than 2.5 miles from the coast, I think that's
It is.
their criteria, 2.5 or 4 miles, one of the two.
Something like that.
They're kind of, if it's over 700,000, that's kind of like where we kind of have to go. Just because Citizen stops at 700 and Slide's about the only other company that'll think about picking that up.
Well, apparently there's 7 new companies out there, including Slide, that are taking over or handling the depopulation of Citizens. Right now, Citizens has 1.4 million policies written right now in the state of Florida. 1.4.
I keep hear everybody talking about, the new companies that are coming to town. I go, okay, show me a policy they've written, or show me a policy they have right now. And it's going to take like time for those. They're approved,
right?
They're approved,
right?
But it's going to take time for them to issue new policies.
Wait for the older policies to run out so that new people have to sign up.
Like even
to
all the
new
takeout
policy.
stuff. I haven't seen any new companies take over any of the policy of my Citizens policies.
Well, this article, it's kind of interesting. Then let's get a little granular on this.
Before you dive into it, can I just ask a quick question?
Mm-hmm.
Is it? We used to always say, Ross, be proactive. Like, I mean, for years we'd be like, you can maybe save a little bit of money on your mortgage payment, maybe by checking out your insurance. Are we back into a time where you should be a little proactive to even? Because look, you can save a few $100. You should consider that at this point because we're going the right way, right?
Yeah, why not?
Are we slipping into? You have 7 new companies that are at least approved. Is it time to be proactive, or are we still like kind of in this? You're kind of probably wasting your time mode.
If your roof, if you're in the Tri-County area and your roof is less than 5 years old, then even if it's an older home, if your roof is less than 5 years old, then yes, be proactive. But if your roof is over 10 years old, Citizens is going to be your bet.
But that's still a big tip right there.
It is.
So if your roof is 5 years or newer, you gotta reshop your insurance. No guarantee you're going to get a decrease, but you might.
But take a little bit of time out of your day and go to Florida Talk Real Estate.
But if you go outside of Palm Beach or the Tri-County area, Martin, St. Lucie, Indian River, then if your roof is less than 10 years old, then we're going to have some really good options for you that'll be cheaper than Citizens and give you better coverage.
So, because something's got to start, right? So these 7 new approved companies, we'll see them start writing when people start seeing what they're quoting, right? I mean, isn't that what it's going to take?
For them to, so usually when a small, like a company enters the market, they'll get their feet wet with the Citizens takeout program.
Okay. So they'll
start to assume that sort of thing, or maybe they buy another carrier. But it's going to take a little bit for them to go, okay, hey, we're open for new business. Agents come start quoting with us.
Okay.
So I keep hearing, we got so many more carriers now. Why are you only giving me Citizens? Show me those new carriers.
Yeah.
Show me the new policies that they're writing.
Because it's just,
news. It's just news.
Well, let me go over the numbers that they said in this article. Was in the Palm Beach Post. So they said 7 new Citizens takeout orders. That's what they call it, right?
Takeout order. So so that Citizens has scheduled, like, hey, because they go through rounds.
Okay.
So it's probably 7 rounds. So at the end of August, there was a depopulation. Everybody that was in that whatever tranche of whatever policies was getting a letter saying, hey, this company's interested in, whatever. And then a month later, brand new batch of letters going out to different policyholders. So that's
Well, maybe that's what they're talking about this article,
Yeah.
because what they're saying is that they're expecting that the takeout orders would impact 168,000 citizens policyholders, right? So that would mean a little over 10% of the
About
1.4
10%, yeah.
million, right? So they're saying like Edison. Let me read a couple of the companies: Edison Insurance, Type Tap Insurance, Florida
Tap.
Peninsula, Tip Tap, Safe Point, Slide, American Traditions, Orange Insurance
I
Exchange.
know Safe Point, isn't it? Safe Point replace, Safe Point repair.
Yeah, there you go.
Something like that.
that's
Is that
Safe Light.
Oh.
Safe Light.
Oh.
Yep. So with this is what they're hoping to do by offering the 168,000 policies. They're expecting it to go. They're expecting citizens' policy count to decrease to 1.3. So they're hoping 100,000 go off of citizens through this program. And they even have ideas of how many each of the companies are going to take, Ross. That's what I wanted to go over. So what they're saying is, like Edison, they're thinking that Edison is going to take over 10,000 policies. Tip Tap is going to take over 25,000 policies. Florida Peninsula, 15,000. Safe Point, 16,000. Slide, 75,000. And American's Tradition, 12,000.
Wow, Slide's a player, huh?
Right?
They've been in that takeout program, yeah, and they they took over St. John's when St. John's went out of business. Slide came in
They
and
just bought them all up.
assumed all those. Yeah,
Oh.
They were going to take mine over on our old house.
would you have St.
Yeah.
John's?
No,
Or no,
it
when
was
you had
Citizens.
Citizens, yeah.
So
okay, yeah.
because I started getting letters about it that they were going to take. I didn't really worry too much about it because I knew my situation was going to change well before my policy expired. But yeah, I matter of fact, yesterday I got a letter from Slide.
Yeah, Slide's a
Or
player.
Citizens.
And I
telling
mean,
me
even
that
though
Slide
you're,
was gonna take
you know, even though those companies are making an offer on the policy,
They don't have to take it
a
necessarily.
lot of the times it's double. So the insured doesn't have to take it at that point, because it's not within 20%. And I don't think it's really a decision. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
not. They're not giving you it. There's no choice to be made there.
Yeah. So, okay, yeah, like here's an offer, but
Thanks.
yeah.
But
It's like offering you $2 for your house. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
If it's under the 20%, though, that's when you have to. At
That's
least
when you will
respond to it,
automatically.
correct?
Well, you don't have to respond.
Right.
You'll automatically be transitioned.
Right. But
Yeah.
if you don't want it to change, you have to respond to it, right? They'll
If
automatically.
the offer is greater than 20%,
Great.
you're going to want to respond. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So the insurance commissioner, who is the insurance commissioner now? I don't even know who it is.
Michael
Jaworski. Yeah. He just came out with an interview on the 19th, a couple days ago.
How come this guy doesn't get beat up in the news, by the way? If he's the insurance commissioner, what exactly does that mean? Because I would imagine he's like the face of the insurance industry.
Well,
Everybody should know his name, and we should curse him on the daily.
well, he's kind of like
what can it's not like he's sitting back there going, I'm going to keep all these rates really high, and I'm lining my
True.
pockets with this extra money that
Absolutely. But the fact that we don't even know his name shows you that he's not even the face of the insurance industry.
yeah, that
Yeah, well,
there's
He
no
doesn't
shit
care
to
what
that
he
part.
has to say.
No, everybody
Yeah,
just
well.
says Ron DeSantis needs to.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Yeah, the governor.
Yeah.
should.
Yeah.
We should always have the government take everything over.
Yeah.
And
It's
then they'll
true.
tell you socialism.
So the average, according to this article, the average Florida policy is $6,000 a year right now, which is the highest in the country, right? For the average.
That's not my
policy.
book. I can tell
Right.
you that.
I'm sorry.
My book's not. I would say my average policy isn't 6,000.
No, I don't think so either. I'm not seeing. I mean, the people that we're writing, we're not seeing the average of 6,000 policies. What would you say? Probably like 4,800.
That sounds like a good number.
Yeah,
that sounds like a good number.
Yeah, like the high fours, like 4,500 to 4,800, probably is like the more common.
Yeah.
Unless you have an unusual home or something like
Right.
that. So, with the insurance commissioner, there were a lot of legislators asking the insurance commissioner, this Michael Jaworski guy, what are you going to do to slow down rate increases? And he said nothing. He said, I don't believe that we should be trying to do rate decreases right now. In fact, I support rate increases to get this under control. And he pointed out
under control.
Well, he pointed out, and this is the part I don't agree. I know that he's just, a lot of this is the situation, not the people involved in the situation, right? Because of all the damage and related to the lawsuits, right? All the fraud that we've had. But this is what he said: the reforms the legislature did last year and this year are nothing short of historic and unprecedented. And I was thinking when I read that is such a politician thing to say, right? Because you know what? All they did is correct abuses that other states don't have, right? That cost us money that doesn't cost other states money, meaning allowing people to sue for any reason and giving all the rights to the homeowner for the lawsuits, right? That was created. No other states have that. That's why we're in trouble. And then they fix it, and then they said it's nothing short of historic.
Right.
I mean, to me, that isn't really historic. That's just getting your stuff together.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, if you want to do
hey,
historic, you could step in like other states and have insurance regulations. You could, like Alabama and Mississippi. I mean, there are coastal states that get hit by hurricanes.
Yeah, that don't have our issues.
And they actually have pretty inexpensive insurance because their legislators
want to make sure you don't have fraud.
Yeah.
Right.
Cap that stuff.
So they're saying, so just so you know, it looks like this isn't going to get better anytime necessarily soon as far as relief, but maybe it'll start capping off. And that's what Ross and I were talking off the air about. Maybe we are seeing the same thing we saw in home prices, where they were just going up on a 45-degree angle to the right, and now it's flattened out a lot. We're seeing a little bit of increase, but not anywhere. Now maybe it's 4 degrees, instead of 45. But Ross, have you seen the rates slowing down yet, or is it just too early to really tell? Because they just passed this stuff last year.
I've seen the rate increases slowing down. Yes,
Yeah.
Where we were seeing average of 40% year over year. We're seeing that probably down to in the low 20s, low 20%. It hasn't been as steep.
It still seems a lot.
I know.
though.
I know.
I know, but when you're
20%.
dealing with 40, 40,
Yeah.
40, 40, 80,
Yeah.
50, 60, 70,
And you got to start somewhere. You got to see the slowdown start somewhere.
Well,
Hopefully
and-
that
and-
won't be the
And
end of the
I
slowdown.
subscribe to you got to celebrate the little wins. You do. Because if you don't,
you're
you
right.
can find yourself being like, I don't celebrate anything.
Yeah.
You got to celebrate the little wins every now and then. You really do.
My average homeowner's premium right now, and now this is just across, from, 13 years, in, being open, is about $4,100 right now. The average
okay.
homeowner's premium for my book.
Yeah. So like $325, $330 a month. That's what you should count for your homeowner's insurance.
Why
Part of your payment.
do I have this urge to strive to be below average?
I know, right? That's where you want to be
I've
below
always
average.
strived for mediocrity. Man, I really want to come in under that now.
I know, it's crazy, right? Let's go ahead. Let's burn the last 7 minutes of this segment on interest rates, because Mike Rauch from the mortgage firm isn't here. So we'll just go over it pretty quickly. Maybe he's hiding today.
Can I just real quick before we do shift? Because one question. So 40% increases, we've seen it all settle in. It's all the in this variable that didn't get discussed a lot is obviously home values have been going up, right? So insurance has to you have to carry more insurance because the replacement costs are going to be more, right? So there's a need for insurance to go up just based on the value of our homes, right? On top of all the other nonsense. Is that settled in? Like, we've seen all that adjustment happen in your industry as far as the pricing for your home and the coverage. That's all pretty shook out.
Well, so the value of your house doesn't mean anything to me. Doesn't mean anything to me. You could have $1 million house that you could be buying a house for whatever, $1 million. Still may only insure it for 300.
Okay.
So now we have seen replacement costs go up, but it doesn't keep pace with value.
So value is what matters. You have to have a min coverage based on your loan, right? That's where value comes into play. What your loan to
Yeah. So the mortgage company is going to tell you you have to have enough. One of two things: you either have to have enough in dwelling coverage to cover your outstanding balance,
Mhm.
or you have to have enough dwelling coverage to rebuild the home should it be completely destroyed.
if you have a loan.
If
This
you
is
have a
when
loan.
when you're making
That's
a
when your
mortgage.
mortgage. That's what your mortgage company requires. And if you just want to get insurance and you don't have a mortgage, the insurance company is going to make you buy the replacement cost. Like if your replacement cost is 500,000, you can't go to the insurance company and say, well, I only want to insure 250 of it. Doesn't work like that. They say you want to insure it, you're insuring it for 5.
Right.
There's no, so they require it to be insured at 100% replacement cost. You got to do a replacement cost estimator to figure that number out. And we are seeing sometimes, like when we are shopping year over year, like, oh, it was the dwelling coverage that they currently have is 325. Our new one is, 360. So we are seeing that go up every once in a while, but it's not all the time.
So through coming out of COVID, like I felt like all that replacement cost really leveled up, but we're pretty
I think
plateaued
so.
now.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not seeing a lot of, our dwelling coverage is 200,000 and now we're writing it at 400. I don't see a lot of that. It's more, 325 to like 360.
Okay. So our problems now are
I would say the problems that we had are behind us.
okay. So we just got to wait for them to shake out. And we knew this. You've been explaining to this the whole time. You're like, this isn't going to happen in a month, 6 months. This is going to take probably
at least
a couple
18,
years.
And we're not even 12 months into the,
Right.
to the legislation.
Right.
And then like we've discussed is right before that went into effect, 100,000 lawsuits filed.
Right. Because they had a deadline to get them in. So they banged them all in real quick. And we have to let that all sort out. But we're still probably 12 months away, at least 6, to really start to see some movement, even though we've seen the fire dulling a little bit. It's
And
outrageous.
I had a carrier earlier this week do like a, webinar, whatever thing, about the industry. And unfortunately I didn't get to listen to much of it because I had to run out. But I mean, they're all pointing to the like 7 or 4 to I think 4 to 7 firms that all litigation is what that caused everything.
Wow.
Well, it's been the direction we're like, this is the problem, we need to fix this, and this is what's going to fix it. And we go, okay, well, let's see. I
mean, because
Yeah,
you can't tell the insurance company, well, I know you need to increase your rates by 20% so that you can stay in business, but nope, we're only going to allow you to increase your rates by 8%. You'll be out of business in a year.
Right.
Yep.
And then we've got more problems.
Yeah, Citizens has 27,000
Well,
27 million policies.
Speaking of that, in that first article I was talking about, they actually mentioned that the reinsurance industry has insured everybody in all the companies back in Florida. So that's a good sign. That means the reinsurance companies, like, you're stable enough that we're backing you.
Well, and
So
Ross has always mentioned reinsurance because I think we get so short-sighted. We just look at, who we pay or who we're dealing with, but they're often affected by.
They got to kick some up to the big guy.
They do. The big man wants his money too. He wants his slice.
With that said, can I ask? I mean, we talk about how many companies are insuring in Florida. How many of them are there?
How many
The
reinsurers?
reinsurers are.
Oh, I don't know how
Does-
many
does-
there are, but they're big, international, global.
Right.
I
mean, does that matter? Does that affect it? At all, the prices?
Yeah, I mean, if they're the way the reinsurance works is, they're not just insuring Florida. They're insuring Indonesia. They're insuring, all over the world. And we've had a pretty good number of natural disasters, or recently, or over the last, earthquakes.
Look at
and
Acapulco.
fires. Yeah, they've got a big hurricane coming. So as those reinsurance companies have had to pay out their capital, now they have less capital to a lot to other disasters or whatever. So the cost of that capital, because everybody's chasing that same dollar, becomes more expensive.
Yeah.
So
I mean, really, it's the same thing. It's just on a bigger scale.
Exactly. And so those insurance, the insurance company that you're stroking your check to, they're stroking a check, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
All right. So it's not all doom and gloom like we've kind of been looking at, because we're starting to see some positive turn here a little bit. So it's not that it's getting better. It's just the severity of how bad it's getting is slowing down.
Yeah. I mean, you could look at it just like mortgage rates, like, okay, hey, I have a warehouse line that's charging me 6% for the money. I can lend it out at either 5% and take a loss, or I need to lend that money out at 8% so that we can, have a little bit of a spread. So it's kind of the same thing. They don't.
But from your predictor machine, what you're seeing so far, what we're doing seems to be working.
I think so. From what I can tell, just from not seeing those big rate increases like we have been over, the last 4 years, we had so many rate increases, we just couldn't shop it fast enough.
Right.
We couldn't shop our policies fast enough.
Nope.
So we're not seeing that, we're not being inundated with those rate increases like we were. And we're a little slow. It's weird. It's not like we're going crazy trying to get all these, new quotes out, and because the rate increases aren't there anymore.
Right.
Well, they're there, but we're just not seeing it on that scale.
Yeah. So it's working though, and you're seeing it daily, and we know it's going to take even more time, but it's going in the right direction. So positive news.
Yeah, I think so. We're seeing companies kind of open up a tiny bit, not necessarily here in Tri-County, where we want it. But outside of Tri-County, we're seeing them kind of dip their toe and open up a little bit.
Good. You want to do this reset, come back and talk a little mortgages?
Yeah, we're going to talk mortgages, and we're going to talk about something spooky happening in the economy.
Oh, damn. All right. Well, you're welcome to chime in if you got a question, you want to be part of the conversation. 877-927-6969. Of course, if you're not comfortable on the radio, totally get it. Go to FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. You got access to the entire team. These are pros, experts in their field. You get them all at FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. That's FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. We're back in 4 minutes. Florida Talk Real Estate right here. It's Real Radio.
Download the app and then take us anywhere. Except maybe there. Get it from your app store. Search for iHeartRadio.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rauch from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rauch will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rauch, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Komarinetz, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
From the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys Studios.
Have you been in an accident? Call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Real Radio 92.1 is WZZR West Palm Beach, an iHeartRadio station.
Listen on your free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts. Free never sounded so good. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
That's 877-927-6969. If you'd like to be a part of the program, dial that up at any time. Well, it works for us. It'll work for the locker room when we pass the baton at 11. All your local shows here on Real Radio. That's right. 877-927-6969. Jimothy will answer the line then. What's up, my dude?
Hello, and good morning, Johnny. How you doing today,
I'm
bud?
doing awesome. Thank you very much. Great to have you with us on a Saturday as always. And you too, whether you're on 92.1, 101.7, you free download your iHeartRadio app. Maybe you're live streaming with us today. Thank you if you are. I'm fine, by the way, if you are.
I noticed that.
It's Halloween weekend, so I tried to dress up. I expected Ross to be dressed up. I was like, man, I got to put on at least a shirt.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's this Halloween has happened way too fast.
Just all of a sudden it's
way too fast. Yeah.
I was like, I got to put on at least a shirt because I bet you Ross is going to be like a scarecrow or something.
Man, drop the ball.
Yeah.
All you need is the volleyball. How many Castaway references Tom Hanks do you get with that beard? I just got to have it daily, right? That's why I never made the joke. I was like, I'm sure he's heard that too many times.
You let the hair grow.
You should. It'd be awesome. That's Ross Komarinetz with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. What's up, buddy?
Living the dream.
I love that. And Jimmy D's here too. That's Jim DePola, runs a top producing Keller Williams team, Florida Home Pros team. Hello, Jimmy D.
Hey, happy South Florida, everybody. Happy Saturday. I'm going to be running around showing property to somebody right after this, so it's going to be a busy day. Looking forward to it. Hey, want to talk about, speaking of Halloween, we're going to talk about some spooky stuff. First, we're going to get into interest rates, and then we're going to talk a little bit of maybe an indicator on the economy, Johnny, that we're always looking for.
All right.
Okay, so interest rates. I think this is why Mike called in sick today.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I read a report in, I think it was Fortune magazine, where they said that they figured out that over the 40-year average for Freddie Mac report that we report every Saturday, the average home loan, 30-year home loan over the last since 1971 until today, averages out to 7.74%. That's what they said. And this week we hit 7.79% for mortgage rates, which means that we're above the historic average over the last 50 years. So now we're in not uncharted territory because we've had interest rates as high as 18% in 1982, but still we're in very high interest rates compared to how spoiled we've been over the last 3 to 5 years or whatever it is. It's pretty crazy.
I love that people got those rates, but I hate that it happened.
It's so wild. It's kind of hard because everybody's spoiled and they think that 7.79 is like a crazy rate when we're just 0.04 or 0.05 above the historic average
I wonder if they
Right.
if you took out a bunch of those like wild swings, like eliminate the 18s
And
and
the
get rid of the
2, 6,
2s and
5s,
3s,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Probably at 7.
I bet you it's about we're right around 7.79. Yeah,
Normal.
I bet it's like right there.
I saw like a video, and it was an interview from, it had to be the 80s, and it was people like, oh, I don't think we're at 13% right now, and I don't think we'll ever see 12 again.
Yeah.
We're probably
exactly.
going to be
Yep.
stuck in at 15 to 18. Like, and it was just like a regular normal interview, like, yeah. And it wasn't like the sky was falling or anything like that. It was just regular. Yeah, it's just kind of where we're at, right? It's I don't think we're going to see the 12s anymore, and we're probably going to see 15. And
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. And now at 5 or 6%, people are like, "Oh my God, it's so high!"
Yeah.
It's
Never
crazy.
go by.
It was so quickly how people got used to those 0 and 2s.
Yeah. And I don't think it's going to be changing, anytime in the near future. I think these rates, I don't think that we're going to see steep drops. I'm hoping that we don't see steep increases, but we're kind of in a weird time with the Fed, not sure what they want to do about the inflation and how they're going to handle that. So that's going to be a big thing right now. So that's the first scary part, right? The other thing I thought that was kind of interesting, Johnny, and you and I've talked about this. When we talk about people getting in trouble,
And I don't know if that's scary, by the way. I think we shouldn't be scary. This should be normal.
well, yeah, but for most people, it's scary, Johnny. Right now, that's scary. If you're out trying to buy a house right now, it's kind of scary, right?
I true. But if you're one that was 2 years ago saying I'm going to wait,
Oh, you're
that's your
so
bed. That's your bed.
you're
Make it
so
comfy.
burned.
Yes.
It's funny how everybody thinks that they become like national economists all the time.
Oh,
When they're
yeah.
trying to
I
decide what
read.
the hell
I
they're
know
doing.
experts.
No, right? They're all experts, right? It's like, oh, these prices are too high. What do you base it on? It's just my gut feeling.
Okay, good,
It's
good,
like,
good.
okay, whatever. But here's something that we've always talked about. How are we going to be able to predict if there is going to be a market crash, right? And what I've always said is don't worry about the interest rates or anything, and don't worry about house prices. Worry about whether people are making their mortgage payments or not, right?
Yes.
Because that's what we saw in the last big crash. When the last big crash happened in 05 through 014, basically 012, when we had that other big crash, what we started seeing right away was the defaults on the payments, and that's what made everything just collapse super fast.
Yeah, because the things they're definitely going to pay, their mortgage, right? Internet, their phone bill.
What else? That's what we're getting to.
That's
What
it.
else?
Those-
No?
just those three. Everything else
No,
they'll default
there's
on.
one other
Car,
thing.
screw
There
that.
it goes. No, you think screw that car?
Oh yeah, for sure.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay, well then you're not going to agree with what I'm going to say right now.
I think
okay?
I think the credit card's the easiest one to bail on, and then the car is the next easiest.
Oh, see,
Because they'll just lock it in the garage and be like, what are you gonna do? Take it? You can't get it.
yeah, see, well, as a person who had a car repossessed one time in their life, it isn't as
I had one
difficult as you
one done
believe.
too. I
have
called
you?
my
You
mom.
had a
I called my mom that morning. I'm like, someone stole my car. She's like, when's the last time you made a payment, son? I was like,
I don't know.
about 4 months. She's like, yeah,
4
your
or
car
5
got
months ago?
repoed. I was like, oh,
Well,
No kidding.
really? They
They
just
really
go
do
get it?
that.
They can just
That's
take
not-
it back.
It's not just in the movies.
I'm like, can I get the stuff out of my trunk? I got a gator blanket and a basketball.
when my car got
CD collection.
Yeah. Oh, I had to
did
go.
did you get your car back?
So it sold at auction. Here's
I
the good
did
thing.
get
It
the-
sold at auction for what I owed. So
Oh,
it
you
kind of
even
was a wash.
Steven.
Yeah.
Even Steven.
But I had to pay to get my stuff out of the trunk.
Really?
Yeah.
They charge you?
They did. They charged me to go in the lot and get in my own car. And
Bastard.
I
That's
even
so
told the guy on
funny.
the phone, I'm like, I'll break in that place and steal my own stuff. I have a key.
Exactly. That's so funny. When my car got repossessed, it actually was one of the funniest things that happened to me ever in a way, because
not
I
funny,
remember
but we can make
I remember
it light a
walking
bit.
out. I went outside to grab the newspaper. I went outside my front yard to grab the newspaper. I was in my robe or whatever, like the beginning of Tony Soprano or something.
Yeah.
Except I didn't have a Tony Soprano house.
Uncle
And,
Ed, cousin Eddie.
Yeah, more like Cousin Eddie. That would be better, right? So I'm walking out of my house and I go out and I grab the newspaper. I'm tired. I grab the newspaper out of the driveway and I'm walking back to my house and I stop. I go, wait a second. Where's my car?
There was a car there last
And I
night.
do just like you see on TV. I start like looking down the street and stuff, right? Like you ever see that on TV?
Yeah, of
Somebody
course,
lose their
yeah.
car and they're looking down the street, up and down the street. It's like, you know it's not going to be there. Somebody's if you parked it in your driveway, it isn't going to be
not like it rolled down the street. You know,
but you do. But apparently the TV stuff is real because that's exactly what I did. I started looking around everywhere and see where my car was, and I did get my car back, but they did not want to give it back because I had it was like 05 or something back then. It was a Toyota Highlander. They were super popular. They did not, the repo guys did not want to give that car back.
They had value.
And we have a redemption period, and we were fighting during the redemption period to get the car back. And they were trying to do everything to delay so we would miss the retention.
Mine was
redemption period.
1990 blue Lincoln Town car with dark blue leather interior. It had the airbag right. Oh, it was sick.
That's ghetto.
It was so sweet. I should have made payments on that thing.
Well, about a boat.
What was your payment? $150?
Yeah, it was like $200, something like that. Yeah, not quite. I think with my insurance, I was around there. Yeah, it was, but yeah, just young and dumb, and my money went up in smoke, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, I just didn't prioritize correctly.
House fire? Was it?
Yeah, exactly. I use it as kindling. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Well,
that thing was sick. Had a 5.0. It was a boat, but it would go, man.
3 miles.
I miss
a
those
gallon.
big sleds.
Yeah, exactly. So you talked about a $200 a month payment. There's 17% of the people out there driving around in their car that with car loans. 17% of the people have $1,000 a month or more auto payment.
I believe it.
I read that.
So
I think
$1,000
like
a month.
700 is like the norm for people these days.
Yeah.
I ask people,
Has
like, what do you
it?
pay for that? They're like 700. I'm like,
The price of cars now?
Yeah.
with
It-
1,000 trucks. Like if you get into a truck, a payment on a truck,
100,000 now.
you're making a mortgage payment.
It's kind of crazy. And so there's 17% of the people that are paying $1,000 a month or more for their car payment, and our loan defaults for cars are going up. Now, what I don't know is the numbers. All I know is percentage. So I don't know. It might not sound as dramatic, but they're making a big deal on this. Let's see, where is it? It's coming from Fox News. And it's 6.11% is the default rate right now that are car owners, and this is September, car owners that were at least 60 days late on their payment. 6.11%.
Do we know or even ballpark of what the like industry norm would be?
Well, in January, just to give you an idea, they don't have the industry norm, but they said January was 5.93%.
So I mean, what is it saying, basically?
Well, yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That doesn't sound like a big percentage, but it might be, because think of how many cars are on the road, right? So they expect that 1.5 million vehicles by the end of this year. 1.5 million vehicles are going to be repoed this year in 2023.
Uber's going to crank back up.
Now,
That's an Uber.
2022 was 1.2 million. So they're thinking that it's almost a 20% increase.
Are we going to invest in Uber or open a Schwinn shop? What do you think? Schwinn? We go bike?
Oh, yeah,
I'm leaning Uber.
I'm thinking electric bike.
E-bikes.
I'm going for e-bike. I
E-bike?
agree with Jimmy. I think e-bike is where it is.
They got to get a payment on that, though.
So
we know they're not good at that.
We're going to find
They're not
out if
cheap.
this is a sign. Is this a sign where we're seeing a little fissure in the economic security of families, and this is the fissure sign, or not that big of a deal? We don't know, but it's an indicator that's out there just to kind of look at.
Yeah, so the numbers are always, the devil's always in the details, right? Like, are we talking about the high end getting default, or are we on the low end getting default? Because if it's the low end getting default, you kind of understand, because I guess it doesn't matter. Most people live beyond their means. Most, it's not 100% blanket.
$1,000 a month car payment, that's beyond a lot of people's means.
It is, yeah. Now, if you got it like that and you want to make that payment, cool. A lot of people kind of get right to it. They're like, I just have to have it. I'm curious what the price point is that's leading a lot of these fall behinds. Is it the $1,000 a monthers?
They didn't,
or is it the 250s?
Yeah,
buy here, pay here, and they're like, man, I can't eat if I pay you.
Can you get a 250?
I don't know. I don't even know if you can do that.
The first car that I actually like bought and financed was in 2002. It was a Hyundai Sonata. and my payment was $212 a month.
Yeah, I definitely often talk numbers from 2000. Yeah, I bet you I'm like a
Seems like
buy
yesterday.
here, pay here is probably like $350. You're probably right.
How about that? Huh? That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so well. We're going to see if this is really an indicator that things are slowing down, because what we're hearing are two things. We're hearing that the economy is super strong. They just came out with their report that says we have like 4.9% GDP growth right now, right? Based on the last quarter report, right? That is not an economy that's hurting.
No, I don't.
4.9% GDP is amazingly
I'm
high.
stunned. I'm stunned on the news every night. You don't hear like just tooting horns. Brown,
Yeah.
USA. I don't understand how people aren't all. We are chugging along, and I guess it's because we don't feel that way, right?
Well, I mean, I think whenever we have CNBC on in the office, just running all the time, and all you say, consumer spending,
So
and it's like they just want people to consumer spend. Okay, all right, people are spending money, but eventually, they need consumer saving.
Yes.
Where's our consumer saving? Because we can spend all that money and we're just going to run out of it.
Well,
Yep.
we did during COVID. We had the highest savings rates ever. We had more money in the bank in savings accounts than ever in the history of the United States. And when but that
people
was
couldn't
very
go out
unusual.
and spend. You couldn't go out and
Right,
spend it.
and it was very unusual for us to have that amount of savings. So that when we opened up the
planet was flourishing. It was green everywhere. The oceans were all.
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's
And
glorious.
then what happened is that people, as soon as they were allowed to go out, everybody went nuts and just went spending. And I think what's going to happen is kind of like puppies in a dog bag that a dog food bag that they got a hold of. They're just going to keep eating and eating and eating until there's just nothing left.
America, baby.
We're in America, right?
Yeah.
It's America.
Spend like a good citizen.
Right? Yeah. So I feel like that's what we're going through. And when is it going to get to the point where we just get exhausted? I just don't know when that's going to happen.
Well, when it happens is when the credit companies start saying you get no more credit, when, because eventually you hit your limit. Well, I guess we're starting to see it. 6% from, people are falling behind on their payments. Like it's catching up. It's getting there.
Yeah. So we're going to
You're running. Remember,
creeping,
what was
creeping.
it? 4 months ago, credit card actually surpassed the student loan debt bubble,
right.
which was our big bubble
which
in
was
the country.
the big drag on the economy.
Right. But so much so that they were looking to ease credit card or student loan debt. So at least government held. So when that surpasses that bubble, it shows you where we're at.
And the other thing is, and maybe it's just me, if the law office of Paula Krasker is here and Paul was here, he might have a different opinion on this. But if you're going to have trouble and it's a choice between your credit card people coming after you or the student loan people coming after you, credit card people, I think, are way nastier, way more aggressive, and going to force you to have problems faster than the student loan people, right? They're just better at collecting debt and stuff like that and really driving your life crazy. So I feel like this is going to be worse than the drag on the economy for the student loan debt. I feel like the credit card debt's going to be more serious and much better chance of way more defaults and way more forcing people to make decisions that they really don't want to make. I feel like with the student loan stuff, you can kind of kick a can down the road and it doesn't really affect you that much.
True. You don't need to kick it, though. You could go to FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
Yeah, you go to, I mean, you don't have to
You
do
haven't
it.
done that yet.
Yeah.
Like we talk about it all the time.
Yeah. So we're talking about the student loan modification that the law office Paula Krasker has been using with our team for I think 9 years now.
Yeah.
For free in 10 questions in 10 minutes, you can find out if you can get a reduction of your student loan through a government program called the Student Loan Modification. And it's based on your ability to pay, not on what you owe.
Right.
And it's a federal formula backed by the federal government. Nothing is a gray area. Everything's black and white. And they can tell you in 10 minutes whether you qualify for this loan or not. So if you're in trouble with your student loan and you have high credit card debt and you don't know what you're going to do with your credit card debt, then try to take some of the savings from your student loan payments and pay your credit card debt by going into this program.
Well, you have nothing to lose, everything to gain. Go to FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. The only thing you're going to invest to find out is going to be a little bit of time. And come on, You spend
but
more.
you-
You
your-
spend
your
more time
time-
flipping through Instagram than you.
Yes, exactly.
Come
For
on.
somebody like Johnny C, that's $150 an hour.
Wow.
You know.
But I paid my student.
So it'll be really interesting to see if this is an indicator. The other thing that bothered me though was that 4.9% GDP. That bothered me a lot because I don't know what the Fed's going to do. The Fed really wants to get to this arbitrary 2% inflation rate. When I read about why we picked 2% as the inflation rate we had to be, there really isn't any real reason behind that. That was a figure decided about 35, 40 years ago in another country with a completely different economy than the United States. And then for whatever reason, our economists here, when we were having problems, decided to use that formula.
I still don't know if I totally agree with the inflation aspect. I think we've used inflation as a smoke shield for corporate greed personally, but because it don't, everything's gone up. I understand that, but it doesn't feel inflationary because I've seen things adjust the other way too, where you're like,
gas.
How exactly?
Look at gas. Everybody was complaining, oh, we're going to get to $4 a gallon.
I paid $2.98 the other day.
Yeah, I was under $3. I paid $2.98 also. I was talking to somebody who's like,
it's $3.29 today, but
I was talking to John from Winn-Dixie. You remember John G?
Yeah.
Right? He said to say hello.
What's up?
He's doing great. Although he has mold in his kitchen, he's rebuilding his kitchen right now, which is a bummer. But John, he was like, where did you get $2.98 from? I went to Costco and I paid $3.07 or whatever. But gas is really low and it's going up and down, and we're in a low cycle right now. It could go up again because of everything that's happened in the Middle East.
You talk about a low cycle, like production levels are low, like it doesn't scream inflation.
No,
but those, like you said, the corporate greed, like all those guys want to do is maximize shareholder profit.
That's it.
Period.
Every quarter.
Yep.
Quarter,
but
but
to not get the ire of the consumer, right? The ones that give them those profits. It's us. It's 360 million strong in this one little plot of land. We're the ones that prop up the world. Let's face it.
Totally prop up the world on our spending.
Facts. It's not America's the best. I'm talking about we outspend you is what we do, right? You can't have us turn our ire on corporate America, right? Inflation. It's inflation, right? And then you can use that to do all these other things that you're trying to get done, like get the interest rates up where they're supposed to be. We should have done it years ago, but when you're chugging along like they were, you don't want to throw anything off. You're like, we'll leave it super low. You got to pull the Band-Aid off somehow.
If you had doubled the mortgage,
I know it sounds like a conspiracy.
If you had doubled the mortgage rates from our low and you doubled the mortgage rates, but you did it over a 2-year period, 2.5-year period, 3-year period, and you doubled it, but you have the intent of doing that, but you started slow and you just kept doing it.
Right.
It would make things so much easier than the way we did it. If you look at the chart on Freddie Mac and you see the interest rate increase from where we started from January 2021, right, at 265, all the way till today, we're at 7.79. The chart looks like Mount Everest. It looks like, this steep climb, this impossible steep climb. And when I went through the 1971 chart, I only saw, now I'm not an economist, but just looking at the chart and staring at it, I only saw like maybe 3 other cycles that had short spikes like we have right now. And none of them looked as tall, except for 1980, right? None of them, which we got up to 18%, which is scary.
Right.
None of them looked like that tall, meaning going on for that long of a period. Some of them spiked really high, really fast, but they flattened out or went down much faster than what we're doing right now. So the thing is they had just planned that out a little better, like Johnny said, and we've been saying, me and Johnny been saying this a long time. We're keeping the rates artificially low too long.
Oh yeah.
And
when you hear about how
the
the economy's cranking all the time, and you're like, well, then why are we not raising these?
Yeah, exactly. And that affected a whole nother segment, and that's what we're going to get to on the flip side. The flip side we're going to be talking about is the biggest migration move in the history of Florida, and it's happening right now. I don't think people realize it. And I've been saying it, and now all these articles are coming out saying what I've been saying. which, yeah, there's a lot of people moving here, but there's a lot of people moving out. And we're going to talk about that on the flip side. Where the heck are they moving? And why are they moving? And why are people moving here? And what does this all mean for the future of Florida?
Yeah, and you, how come you're not selling your house with FloridaTalkRealEstate.com? That is your one-stop real estate shop. You should know it. You should use it. You should absolutely love it. You will if you use it. But share that too, because you can change lives by putting people on a team of pros. These are experts in their field. We call it the one-stop real estate shop for a reason. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com on Facebook and YouTube as well. But get used to that .com, your one-stop real estate shop. 4-minute break. We're back at it. It's Florida Talk Real Estate right here. It's Real Radio.
What's a Real Radio podcast? It's Real Radio on demand. Find your favorite show at realradio921.com. Here's the latest with weather on Real Radio.
From the Gordon and Partners Weather Center. Have you or a loved one been injured through no fault of your own? Call 561-333-3333 or go to fortheinjured.com.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Collins with CBS 12 News. Mostly sunny today with only a stray shower possible as temperatures remain in the middle 80s for afternoon highs with a northeast breeze between 15 to 20 miles per hour. Then partly cloudy, mild again tonight as overnight lows drop into the 70s by Sunday morning.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Escape with the best stories of the year on Audible. Hear celebrity memoirs, mysteries, true crime, sci-fi, and more. Ignite your imagination with audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rauch from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rauch will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rauch, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Komarinetz, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
This is Real Radio 92.1 and 101.7. Real talk for the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
Got a little bit of time for you remaining on a Saturday. If you'd like to jump on in, you got a question, comment, concern, don't be shy. 877-927-6969. Jimothy will pick up that line there. What's up, my dude?
Hello, and good morning.
Yeah, getting ready. Let's see, Greek's in the house, getting ready for the locker room.
Yeah, going to do about an hour and a half of some sports talk before we turn it over to the Florida Gators at 12:30 pregame.
Big game.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Woo! Georgia, Florida.
Oh, yeah.
World's largest outdoor cocktail party, even though they don't like to call it that anymore.
We
are home of Florida Gator football, and I might have to hang out and chat a little Gator Georgia with you guys for a second.
Cool, that'd be great.
Yeah, I might just have to. I'm Johnny C. Ross Komarinetz is with us. Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach is where you will find him on the regular, and on an occasional Saturday with us, knocking out 2 hours of infotainment. How are you, Ross?
I am doing well, getting ready for unicorns.
I love that so much. It sounds so weird, right?
It
Getting
does.
ready for unicorns.
Yeah.
When he told me that, I'm like, do they have real unicorns? And the look he gave me was like, you're such an idiot.
Well, I didn't know. They might. I had no idea. You looked at it before I did.
Yeah,
So,
I'm thrilled about it. And I'm not even a big unicorn guy, but you get to go and meet all these different unicorns, learn about their powers, take pictures with them. There's photo ops. You can
I think
touch
you
them.
can buy the power too. Like, I think I can get like the power to shoot rainbows out of my ears.
What?
Wow.
I've read
Just
your bio.
Dungeons and Dragons here? What are we doing?
I've read the bio. The ears will be a new hole for sure.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm
Palm
really
Beach.
intrigued.
Palm Beach.
Yes. Jimmy D's here, y'all. It's Jim DePola. He runs the top producing Keller Williams team, the Florida Home Pros team. Keller Williams Innovations is where you find that team. Jimmy D, how you be?
Yes, I'm doing good. And I wanted to give a couple other shout outs I forgot to bring up. Of course, we talked about Jimmy just a little earlier. He was the seller buyer. Jimmy Thee is now moving to his house this weekend. As soon as
As soon as we get off the air.
Yeah, when is the truck arriving?
I'm picking that up this afternoon.
So
Got
excited.
it for 2 days. Got
Yeah.
a couple guys coming to help us out tomorrow morning.
Are you going to do anything for the Dolphin game tomorrow, or like as an event? Do you have a public
No,
event tomorrow?
no.
Oh, good. So you get to go and enjoy moving into your new home.
Yep, I don't have to worry
Awesome.
about that for a little while.
Oh, awesome, man. Well, congratulations. I'm so excited you're moving in. A couple other shout outs. Wanted to give a shout out to Frances. She sold a house with us. It's actually a villa. Hold on here 1 second. It is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath villa in Aberdeen in Boynton Beach, which is that membership equity community, which is another house that we're going to be selling over there very soon.
Nice.
Fran came to us. 85-year-old lady. What a crackerjack lady. Sharp as a tack, lives by herself, totally self-independent. But she found out that she has cancer and she needs to get chemo. So her family said, hey, Mom, you're moving back up to Pennsylvania, whether you like it or not. So she had to sell her house. That lady was so on top of it, Johnny. I just felt like she was a very, very special woman. Italian breaker. She ripped out her kitchen in this small condo and put in a 6-foot by 5-foot kitchen island so she can roll all her bakery goods out and everything. And she just fabulous lady.
Awesome.
Sold the house in 10 days. We got the second highest price in the last 18 months for a unit like hers. So very happy she moved up to Pennsylvania, and thank you for trusting us.
Yeah, and I hope
to do
everything
the
goes
job.
well with the chemo and everything.
Yes, and they came to us as a referral from Jennifer and Jason, who we helped sell their house and then move them to a different state and help them find a new place in a different state. And then they're relatives of Fran, and when Fran had to sell, they said, you got to call Jim. So thank you for trusting me and allowing me to be part of that experience for you. And I wish you the very best through your treatment. Also want to give a shout out to Omar and Jesse. We helped sell their house up in Fort Pierce. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,300 square foot home. I love this little neighborhood that they live in Fort Pierce, and it is a beautiful. A beautiful home, and just feels like a slice of old Florida. I think we sold it. I'm sorry. Hold on here. We sold it in. Hold on. We sold that house in 4 days. Okay. The house, just like it, was priced a little bit higher than ours, and it was on that market for over 50 days. And I think it went under contract after we did. And Omar and Jesse went to buy a new home after this. They weren't expecting to do that, so they were going to use very, I don't want to say predatory, but very high cost private type of mortgage, because they felt like they might not be able to get a mortgage because Omar had changed jobs.
Wow.
And when he was looking for the place, he didn't have a job. And then while he was in contract to close on the new home, he got the job. So thank God they mentioned that to me. I got him over to Mike. Mike got them in a traditional regular loan. They were sure that they couldn't do it because their attitude was, or what their knowledge base was, that if you move from one job to another job, you can't get a mortgage until you're at that job for a year. That is a very big old wives' tale that a lot of people just assume is true, and it's not.
Right.
A lot of times, if you switch jobs and you're in the same type of industry, you can just go ahead and get the mortgage right away, and you don't have to wait. Sometimes you might have to wait for 1 or 2 paychecks to come through.
Right.
If you get a letter from the employer saying that they're hiring you and blah, 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 blah,
It's what you're going to make.
Yep. You might not even have to go through that process. So thank God that they mentioned it to us. We got them over to Mike. Mike's closing them on their new home. So congratulations, Omar and Jesse.
Awesome.
And then their next door neighbors saw that we sold the house so fast, and they have a very similar home. He's like, hey, I want to know what my house is worth. I met with him about 10 days ago, and he called me after thinking about it. Now he wants to put it on the market. So next week we're going to be going up there and moving the sign from one side of the street to the other side of the street.
Isn't it funny how like just seeing that sometimes can kick people into gear? It's so funny. Like when I got my fence done, I had like a couple of neighbors were like, hey, what's your fence guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you knew you needed a fence. Why are you waiting for mine to get done?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, it looks nice.
We
yeah,
just
it's new.
did that with
Yeah.
the roofer for another
How
neighbor.
about that?
Yeah.
Go figure. By the way, I need a fence guy.
I got a great one. He's
Good,
awesome.
Thank you.
I need a car in my pool.
I know
wow.
a guy. Yeah. I don't know if he's willing to put the same car in.
Well, apparently the same driver at Johnny's house might have been over at Jimmy's house at one point.
Yeah, really. Huh? Come to find out that was a landscaper.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it was?
Yeah, he backed into the corner by the garage, so they had to fix that up.
Whoops.
Whoopsie. Yep.
So he had a car accident in his house too, right? He had a car
So
accident
did you
into
come
the
home
house.
one day and go, did someone run into the house? Like, because
No,
we
this
got
was-
home and the car was in the house, right? When I got home, the car was literally pushed into the house, right?
Oh my God.
Now, in this particular case, they just the inspector saw it, and as well as the builder. They even put the picture up there. They acknowledge it. There was never an issue with it or anything. There was one of the people that was working there. And matter of fact, the people that were put the slide down is the one that backed into it by accident. So, and just, I'm in the corner of it, and it just knocked off a little of the stucco and bent the corner. And so they straightened it out, restuccoed it, repainted it.
Bada bing, bada
it's
boom.
fine.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So congratulations, everybody. Also, one last thing. Congratulations to Peggy and her husband, Carl. I helped Muriel sell 2 homes just recently. She's moving to South Carolina. I think she's closing on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
They're
good.
moving, yeah.
Good for her.
And everything worked out great with her, Jimmy.
Mhm.
And then they were so impressed with us, thank God, that the neighbor needs to sell. They're moving to Georgia, and we're waiting to put their house on the market very soon. So congratulations, Peggy and Carl. Thank you for trusting us to put your house on the market.
Yes.
We expect to get the same results that we got from Muriel, your neighbor.
Awesome.
So that'll be great. Now, we were talking about how the economy is affecting everything right now, and how there's a higher default rate on car loans. That could be a drag on the economy. People are paying $1,000 a month for car payments right now. We talked about how the interest rates are still super high, and we're actually higher than the national average for over the last 50 years. We finally broke that barrier. Not a good barrier to break, but we did.
We're above average.
Yeah, we're above average. Yeah. But all of this is putting pressure on us. And I don't know how many times I hear people when they're talking about selling their house, oh, we know it's so great, and everybody from the north is coming down here and they all buy cash, and I can put my house up for whatever I want to put it up for, and somebody's going to buy it, right? And that was so during COVID, that was so true. And even for a period after COVID, it was true. But then when the interest rates got higher and higher and higher, it became less and less true as time went on. Now, we're not in a crash. We're not even seeing really, for real, any kind of significant price decreases over this time. The peak we were last year was an all-time peak in Palm Beach County. We'll use the example, but it's pretty much the same as South Florida, was 620. And right now we're at 600. So we're talking, 3% off the all-time high in Florida for Palm Beach County. We're doing pretty good price-wise, but we're not going up and up and up and up it still. We're not doing that.
Crazy
But
rate
that's
we
because
were.
you also had people, the ask price is 6 and they got to pay 7 to get it.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
we're not seeing as much of that either. But with everybody talking about the reason why that's happening is because everybody's coming here and that there aren't enough houses. That's all true. But the other part of it is, and what people aren't getting, there's a lot of people moving. And we're seeing the biggest immigration in Florida history, possibly, where more people are jockeying for position. Like some are moving out and some are coming in. And we haven't really ever seen this in Florida. So we're going through it, and it's happening throughout the state. That's another thing. It isn't just a region.
Right.
It isn't just like Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade.
Well,
Right?
so we can only know what we see, right, in the daily, your grind, right, daily in our listening area. So basically, Indian River down to Miami-Dade, that's the the area that the Florida Home Pros kind of serves, and obviously Ross can do the whole state. I'm guessing it's renters that are driving the exodus, right? Because we're not seeing huge uptick in inventory, right?
No, there's a lot of people that are selling their houses moving, like Muriel, for example, right? Muriel, she sold 2 houses to move to South Carolina, right? She had her mom's house and her house, and now they're going to move up there together. John, I think you know John, John and Katie, big fans of the show, right? John and Katie ended up selling 3 houses. I've already sold 2 of theirs, and are going to be putting their other house on the market probably next week. And they've already bought a house in Central Florida with an agent that we placed them with, and they're moving out of the area. So they're sold 3 houses
Florida,
to get, and they're staying in Florida, but they're staying in a very John is so funny. Listen to this. He bought a 20-acre spread in North Central Florida, has two houses on it, and it's got a couple of outbuildings on top of it. And he said since he bought it, he thinks that the acreage went up like $5,000 an acre already, and he bought 20 acres. So he thinks the house is worth 150,000 more.
Good for
than
that.
what he paid for it. He hasn't even moved in yet.
Real quick, yeah. But they don't count their numbers because they're staying in the state.
Oh yeah, and they want to be there a long time, and they might have a really interesting new business. And if they do have that business, I'm going to put them on the show for sure about this. I don't want to talk about it right now, but it has to do with animals on their land. It would be fun to see if he does that.
Unicorns?
No,
Hope so.
no, yeah, unicorns would be
I want
awesome.
to shoot rainbows out of my ears.
But there's a lot of
somewhere.
just as and here's the interesting part that's happened with this migration. Most of the people moving from other areas to here are wealthier than the average person that's in Florida. Okay, so we're getting a lot more wealthier people coming in, and the people that are leaving are middle class, right? So they're less income, more likely to work a job that isn't like an at-home job. And there's a lot of like teachers, firefighters, police officers, government workers. They're all fleeing Florida. So And what's surprising about this is that the numbers aren't that different, meaning that there was about 700,000 people moved from the northern states down to here from other areas into Florida, but we lost about almost 500,000 Floridians to other states. So there's only a net increase of 200,000, right? Now that's still significant. Don't get me wrong. We're number one in the country for increase in population. We're number one in the country.
And we've been cranking for a while too. I mean, we passed New York for population. What was that? 2 years ago. Feels
yes. And Florida's always been or always is in the top 3 for places for people to move to. It's always been like that.
Hell,
and
must
then
have
there
been
was
longer
a
than that. I
period-
think I was still in the penthouse when that happened, and I've been gone 2 years from that. So
Oh yeah. This has been going on forever. And then
Yeah.
there was a small period where it slowed down, right? And then after COVID, it just exploded. But there's a lot of people moving, and where they're moving is what we always say is South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee. Those are the 4 big states where everybody's moving to. My advice, if you're going to move to one of those 4 states, try to go to Tennessee if you can, if you like Tennessee.
tax haven states.
I've never
Tax
been there,
haven.
but I've heard it's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of people are moving out there, and now they're calling it the move to the hills. This is funny. So realtors say that the outflux of or emigration of Floridians to other states, they're calling it the move of the vills because they're moving to Huntsville, Alabama, Asheville, North Carolina, Knoxville, Tennessee, Greenville, South Carolina. So they're calling it the exodus of the vills.
I mean, Florida's just going to merge into the southeastern United States. It's just going to be one big state.
Yeah, eventually, right?
Yeah.
Now it's kind of
Floridians
interesting.
everywhere.
It's kind of interesting. They actually did searches. They did internet searches to find out, like people from Miami, where is their number one place that they're searching for places to live, right? So not that they've moved, but they're just looking. So in Miami, the number one place that people are looking for when they're searching for places to live, this is between July and October this year, was Asheville and Knoxville. Asheville, North Carolina, Knoxville, Tennessee. If you're in Orlando, those were the most popular searches. It was also similar for Orlando, right? Orlando was looking at those cities a lot, people in Orlando. But in Cape Coral, Fort Myers, they were looking more like they were looking at Asheville, they were looking at Greensville and Knoxville, were their big searches. So a lot of people are moving from here, but they're not moving like Colorado, they're not moving to Idaho or Montana. They're not, or California or Oregon. They're all staying just a little bit north of where we are now.
Right.
So I just think that's kind of interesting, and it's all related to the economy. The reason why people were leaving for Florida are the same things that we talked about over the last several times we talked about this. Congestion, cost of things, congestion, and the weather is the other big thing. And they're looking for that. There was an article I read about
Weather.
Weather, like too much heat. People complain about the heat. believe it
I
or not.
love that. They moved to Florida not knowing it's hot.
I know,
That's
it's
my
ridiculous.
favorite. I love that.
Although I got to tell you, I don't know. Maybe it's because of my age, and it might be just my age. But I got to tell you, this summer, and I like the heat. I've always liked the heat. So if it's hot, I kind of just get into it. But this summer, when it was like, it was 98 and stuff like that, that was hot for me. I got to tell you, that was like, wow, if this is like every day in the summer, it turned out not to be like that. But if it was like that every single day, that would be hard.
I really thought August and September were going to be horrible.
Yeah, me too.
Because July was hot, June was hot, and it was just ramping up. But I felt like it didn't get out of control. Like
I felt like we went through a couple week hot spell that people go through all the time, but it wasn't like
Farmer's Almanac said we're gonna have a super hot summer and we're gonna have a really cold winter.
Yeah, it'll be cool if we have cold winter. No pun intended. Well,
the weather's been nice. No, excuse me. Don't if you heard me say that. The weather's horrible here.
Sucks.
Juno is the worst place to live. Northern Palm Beach County is terrible.
Yeah.
You do not want to come here.
I hear Asheville and Knoxville are awesome.
They're
really
A lot of
good.
people moving there.
Yeah, I heard.
They moved to the hills.
Beat them there.
Yeah.
Well, here are the states. Just to go over this one more time. Here are the states where people are coming to Florida from. New York, of course, is number one, 91,000.
Yeah, because
right?
we've always been a borough.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
Sixth one.
Yep, the sixth bureau. California is number 2. New Jersey's number 3.
I moved here from California, so go
Georgia's number 4. So people move from Georgia to Florida. Texas is number 5.
My mom moved here from California. My grandma moved here from California. Like, yeah, I
from
get
California.
it.
Yep, that makes sense. We moved from Oregon, I guess, to Florida. Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia, Ohio, North Carolina. Those are the places that people are moving to the Sunshine State from. The other article, okay, now where are people moving to when they're in Florida? Number 1, Georgia. 51,000 Floridians moved to Georgia in 2022. Texas is number 2. North Carolina, number 3. California, number 4. Tennessee, Virginia, New York is 21,000. So it is in the top 10 of Floridians moving to New York, but it's only 21,000.
I'm surprised that many Floridians were moving to California.
Yeah, this is the kind of interesting. It's like a lot of the states that I would be surprised about too, that you're moving from Florida to California or California to Florida. Right?
I could see California to Florida because you want to California to Florida because you immediately increase your income by not having to pay a state tax, and just the taxes in California are crazy. So that's why I think it's weird for people to go from Florida to California.
Well, maybe
the whole thing is like, don't California my Florida.
Unless you're okay, unless the topography throws you off. Like if you're like, "Ooh, there's no hills." No, there's not. Right?
Well, you guys are forgetting something else. It's the politics, right? So, like, I was just listening to Bill Maher, his podcast.
Politics is weird.
And Bill Maher, I know, but a lot of people are doing it, especially in this cycle. I've seen a lot more people move for politics than ever before. And Bill Maher was talking that he was thinking moving from California to Florida at one point, and he just says he just can't handle Miami, right? So he decided not to move.
I can't handle Miami, and I've never. It doesn't affect me.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Miami does not affect me ever, unless I have to go there.
Hey, I like the food and I like the culture. I hate the driving, so it's a landmass to me to get to the Keys. Right?
Exactly,
it's all it is. It's a bridge for me to get to the Keys. That's what the Miami is.
Yeah, you drive. Hey, Miami.
Yeah,
going.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, I'll stop by for food once in a while.
Yeah, they have good rest areas.
But it is interesting about the flip-flopping in a lot of these states that people are moving from to Florida. We're moving from our state to their state. And California, I think a large part of that, of people moving from Florida to California, I think it's more about that whole red-blue thing, right?
Could be.
Some people are just fed up with being too red here, and so they're moving to the blue, and the vice versa. California, the people over there.
Could also be a lot of I'm going back. Maybe a lot of New Yorkers like, I'm going back to New York.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Californians, I'm going back to California.
And
you come here and you're like, it's not what I thought it was going to be. I'm going back. It might be a lot of that.
There's total truth to that.
So they all move from there, and then there's such a leader going back. I think there's a lot of, I was here a year.
There is one big Wall Streeter that said, the only bad thing about moving to Florida is that you have to live in Florida. This Wall Street, New Yorker, Wall Streeter guy, right? Are you going to move your whole company?
It takes his family down here every winter on his.
That's all right. Come bring your money.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
We need it.
So, it's just interesting to watch this migration. This is pretty much, I mean, don't know if it's once in a lifetime, but I can tell you this, since I've been in Florida since 74, I haven't really, maybe one other cycle of this immigration thing I've seen maybe as strong as it is right now. So we're going through changes in Florida without a doubt. We're just going through population changes, demographic changes, income changes. It'll be very interesting to see what happens in the long run.
And if they are all politically based, that is fascinating to see how things shake out.
I had some people that came from New Jersey or New York, New Jersey area, and also from California that used to live here. And when they came back, like, man, there's so many Trumpers everywhere.
He lives right over there. Right?
Yeah. But that was like the big, that was their biggest. This is awesome, but there's just too many Trumpers around.
I forgot this is the last show before Halloween. I didn't get to talk about my haunted house stuff that Ross sent me that I really, really want to talk about. So we're gonna have to talk about it on the next show post Halloween.
Oh.
Because something like this actually happened, Ross, where somebody called up all excited. They found out somebody died in the house they want to buy.
They were
And
excited
thought
about that?
Yeah, because they thought they were going to get a deal for disclosure.
Oh.
And then we're going to talk about that on the next
Oh,
show.
like,
yeah, because that had
boy.
the disclosure. Oh, yeah, all the disclosure
Yeah.
stuff in it. Yeah.
All the
I sure
disclosure.
hope there's still blood splatter.
I can clean that up.
Oh man, this is awesome. Great to have you with us. It is going to be Halloween before we speak next. So if you have little kiddos, have some fun out there. Be safe. And I'll take care of each other out there. You know, there's going to be people running around in the dark. Just be mindful. Stay off your damn phone when you're driving. And I should pretty much use that as a blanket statement always. But have fun. Be safe. Ross Komarinetz, good luck with the unicorns today.
Thank you.
As always, thanks for all your efforts with Brightway Insurance there in Juno Beach.
Thank you, man. I try my best.
It's good to see you on a Saturday as always. Look forward to maybe next Saturday seeing you once again.
Not next Saturday.
Oh!
We're preempted.
Yep.
Are we really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny
Oh.
doesn't like talking about it on the air. That's why I didn't say anything.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
That's
It's always
his rule.
next Saturday. Jimmy D, I hope you have a great weekend.
Have a good one, man.
I
I
know
was
you-
thank you, back you, Johnny.
I thank you very much. I know you got some showings. I hope everything goes
Yeah.
well out there today.
I'm sure it will.
And safe travels to you. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
And happy Halloween.
Bye-bye.
Jimothy, I'm going to hang out and do a little locker room with you and Greek if that's all right.
Nice.
Sounds like fun,
All
buddy.
right? You better pull up your gator britches, buddy.
Little reunion here.
Go Gators.
Go Gators.
I'm listening
There we
on the way while I'm driving around. I'll be listening.
It's going to be a very informative show next Saturday. 2 hours of infotainment every Saturday. It's Florida Talk Real Estate here on Real Radio. Remember, we are a .com, your one-stop real estate shop. Pros, experts in their field. You get them all at the one-stop real estate shop that is floridatalkrealestate.com. Know it, use it, love it, share it. You could change lives. People are good at what they do. When you find people that are great at what they do, I don't want you to hoard that. You do that. Use that resource, but share it. Change lives. floridatalkrealestate.com. We'll see you next Saturday. 2 hours of infotainment every Saturday right here on Real Radio.